Hello, everybody. Morning.
Estoy
Thank
dentro, ¿eh?
you for joining us in this informative session. I'm Ines Bouzon, and together with my colleague, with Carla Carbonell, we will try our best to make this session as useful as possible for you. So I will share my screen. Please remember to switch off your microphones.
Please, can you accept my colleague Gloria?
No, así que...
She's
Sorry.
waiting, sorry.
Yeah, we will be admitting everybody, but meanwhile, since we are 5 minutes late already, we will start, okay?
Perdó, començo una reunió, heu dit només que sapeu.
So please switch off your microphones. Okay. So yes, I was saying, welcome to the informative session and thank you for joining us today. Just some reminders before starting the presentation. Take into consideration that the session will be conducted in English, and we will have a short presentation by myself and Carla, and afterwards we will have a live Q&A session in which you will be able to ask your questions. To ask questions during this Q&A, you should raise your hand in the Zoom application. So you will find this raise hand button in the reactions button that you have at the bottom of the menu. After raising your hand, when it's your turn, my colleague Monica will say your name. So when you are given the floor, please connect your microphone and camera and ask your question. Please pay attention to the presentation and also to other questions to avoid any repetitions and to make this session as useful as possible. And if you have any technical issues, you can use the chat tool. Also, if we don't have time for your question or you think about something once we are finished, you can always contact us to this email address here and we will reply. So just a last reminder, for very specific questions about your proposals that may take us a long time or that may need some discussion, we prefer that you send us an email rather than asking it in the Q&A session afterwards. So this is our website. You can access it and you will find there helpful documents that like the rules for participation that you probably have already checked, also the evaluation guide for the call. And also there's a very useful document which is called Manual for Submission, in which you will find a step-by-step manual for the online submission of your proposal. So we recommend you to check all this documentation. In the website, you will also find a tab for frequently asked questions and always our contact email that I was saying before. You can always send us an email and we reply to every email we receive. Also, this informative session is being recorded and you will find the link to the session in the website in a couple of days. So we've divided this presentation in two parts. Firstly, I will go through some frequently asked questions that we have, and afterwards, my colleague Carla will show you how to use the online system or the key parts of the online system in a practical manner. So let's start with the first part. Here you have the timeline for the call. As you should already know, the call is open now and it will close on February 25th at 2 p.m. Spanish time. This is an automatic closure, which means that no applications will be accepted after this time. Basically, you will not be able to submit your application after 2 p.m. Then we will have an eligibility and an evaluation phases that I will explain in later. We will communicate the results on July 2026. Some important application pre-eligibility criteria, especially for project leaders. To act as project leader in a proposal, you should have completed your PhD prior to the opening date of the call, and you should be you should belong to a host organization based in Spain or Portugal. Partners can be abroad, but project leaders should belong to a Spanish or Portuguese organization. Also, you can only submit one proposal as project leader, but you can participate as partner or as team member in as many proposals as you wish. There are no limitations either for proposals per organization. So an organization can be the host organization for more than one proposal. And well, you as project leaders should submit your proposals through the organization where you will carry out the project if awarded. If you are transitioning from one organization to another one, please let us know so we can check your case specifically. Here you have the 3 proposal categories in which you should submit your proposal. We have pilot studies, retrospective evaluations, and new interventions, each one with a different budget and different duration. Some important eligibility things here are the ones on the right. So you should take into consideration that some proposals will not be eligible under any of these proposal categories, such as proposals with interventions in which the primary objective is not health related, proposals that do not involve an intervention and or its evaluation, a health intervention and or its evaluation, proposals focused on the development or validation of medical devices or pharmacological products, including clinical trials in phases 1, 2, and 3. And in phase 4, they are eligible unless they are focused on drug repurposing. Also, proposals aimed at evaluating public awareness or behavioral change campaigns will not be eligible, and proposals focused on preclinical studies will not be eligible, since all proposals submitted to the call should include an intervention in humans, a health intervention in humans. Also, we have 2 types of projects depending on the number of organizations participating in it. We have individual projects submitted by one single research organization. This research organization will be called the host organization and will be represented by a project leader. Then we have the consortium projects in which from 2 to 5 research organizations are involved. In this group of organizations, one of them will act as host organization with a project leader. This will be the leading organization. And then you can add up to 4 partner organizations, which will be represented by one researcher that we call partner. Okay, so each organization can only be represented by one person, who will be, as Carla will explain later, the one who should be invited to participate in the proposal through the online system. Both types of projects, individual and consortium, can include civil society organizations and participant organizations. So civil society organizations are organizations that take part in the project, but they do not perform research or scientific activities, and they can have an associated budget or they cannot have it. Okay, since the difference with the partner organization is that civil society organizations can have or not budget, whereas partner organizations should, in a mandatory way, receive budget and should perform scientific activities in the project. Then both types of projects can also include participant organizations. These participant organizations do not have an associated budget, which is the main difference with the partner organizations. They do not have an associated budget, but they perform some of the project's activities. We are thinking with participant organizations about primary care centers or similar entities that may carry out some activities in the project, but that cannot, because of administrative or legal reasons, they cannot directly receive funding. So they will be participant organizations. Then also consider that this call is not open for for-profit organizations. For-profit organizations cannot be the host organization, so they cannot lead a proposal. They cannot be partner organizations neither. If they need to participate in the project and they need to receive budget, they can be subcontracted by any of the participant organizations. And also we proposals with a clear benefit for profit organizations will not be eligible under the call. These are the budget concepts that you will be asked to enter in the system when you start your application. So we have direct costs, we have indirect costs, and we have subcontracting. To calculate the indirect costs, they cannot be higher than a 10% of the direct costs, so not including subcontracting. And these indirect costs cannot be included in the pilot studies categories. Also, another important restriction in the budget is that no more than 30% of the whole budget can be allocated to non-Spanish or non-Portuguese organizations. There are no other limits in the different concepts or among partners or civil society organizations. And in the case of direct costs, there's something that is always asked, that is what kind of spends can be indicated in the personnel concept. They can be new contracts, they can be salary complements, and they can be contracts already paid by the organization. Now, I would like to tell you about the keywords. When you start an application in the system, you will be asked to introduce keywords to describe your proposal. Keywords are really important because they will be used to select the peer reviewers that will evaluate your proposal. Okay, so here there's an important consideration with the keywords. We are using keywords from the NIH mesh tree, which has a tree structure. Therefore, the same keyword can be found in different branches of the tree. Okay, so with an example is much easier. Imagine that you wish to use the keyword brain neoplasm to classify your proposal. So brain neoplasm can be found under the nervous system diseases branch, or it can be also found under the neoplasms branch. So if you indicate brain neoplasm from the nervous system diseases branch, your project is more prone to be evaluated by a neuroscience expert. While if you select brain neoplasms from the neoplasms branch, it is more prone to be evaluated by an oncology expert. So consider this when selecting your keywords. We always recommend you to select the keywords at the lowest level possible from the mesh tree, and that you select only the keywords from the branch that best fits with the thematic of your proposal. And also do not select the same keyword from different branches unless it is totally indispensable for the best evaluation of your proposal. You will be asked to select from 1 to 3 main keywords. Main keywords should describe the core of your proposal because they will have a higher impact in the selection of reviewers. And then you will be asked to select from 3 to 5 other important keywords that should highlight aspects that are not described with the main keywords, but that they are important, and they will have a lower impact in the selection of the reviewers. So just consider that keyword selection is crucial for the assignment of the remote reviewers. And finally, I would like to tell you about the eligibility and evaluation processes. Once you submit your proposal to the call, its eligibility will be checked. And if it does not comply with the general framework of the call, it may be discarded. It may be discarded at any stage of the selection process. This is important. So it's not only during the first part of the process, but it can be at any stage. Then we have 2 different evaluation phases, the remote phase and the selection committees. So in the remote phase, your proposal will be assessed by 3 international evaluators, 4 in case of discrepancy. With the scores from these evaluators, we will prepare a ranking, and the highest scoring proposals from each proposal category will progress to the final evaluation phase, which is the selection committees. So we will have in the selection committees from 18 to 20 proposals in the pilot studies category. We'll have 15 to 18 in retrospective evaluations category, and from 12 to 15 in the new interventions category, which, as I've said, will be the highest scored proposals in their category. Then in the selection committees, we will have 1 committee per proposal category. So all pilot studies will be assessed together, all retrospective evaluations, and all new interventions. These committees will be composed by a mix of academic and non-academic experts, both international and locals. And interviews will be held online on June 9th and 10th, and will consist of a short presentation, which should be presented by the project leader of the project in English. And this presentation will be followed by questions from the committee members. Once all proposals have been assessed in the selection committees, we'll have the final selection based also in a ranking. So we will select finally for funding around 6 pilot studies, around 5 retrospective evaluations, and around 4 new interventions. So Carla, please, now it's your turn.
Thank you, Ines. Thank you very much for being here today. I'm going to share the main processes on the online system. If you have already applied to any of our calls, you may already know these processes, but I think it's worth going through them as there are some of them a bit tricky or is worth speaking. So if we move ahead, first of all, we would start by checking. First of all, this is the online system. You also have the link on the website and on the rules of participation and on the online system manual. Be sure you use the platform in English. This call is expected to be all in English, so the system and the platform is built in English for this call, although you've got different options or different languages. Please, so we make sure that all validations are working properly. Make sure to use the platform in English. And you may also find through the platform different contact emails that are general for all the calls in La Caixa Foundation. Please use our contact email because we get those emails straightforward and we will be more diligent on our answer and we can give you our answer as soon as possible. If we move forward, first of all, user roles in the online system. As Ines was saying, we have the project leader. The project leader is the principal investigator of the host organization. He is in charge of submitting the proposal and of inviting the other partners. And again, just for a reminder, automatic closure of the submission phase on February 25th to CET. And as Ines was saying before, automatic closure means that the platform shuts down the application phase. So any application that is not submitted before that time, it is withdrawn, okay? Then we have the partners. Partners are the research representative of the different research performing organizations in the consortium, okay? You need to be invited by the project leader and you need to accept, as I will show you in a moment with more detail, the invitation from the project leader. Then the civil society organizations that also have to be invited and accepted their participation, as they can also receive money, as Ines was saying. You need you need, as project leader, to be able to submit, you need the approval from the organization manager, that is the representative of the organization on the online system, that later on in the future, if you are selected, will also be in charge of all the grant agreement process and the legal documents. But for now, on the application phase, you need the confirmation through the platform. And the process is really easy, and that organization manager gets an email saying that project leader wants to apply to this call related to your organization, and you have to be authorized through the online system. There's a validation button on the platform that we recommend you to use it because it validates the exact same eligibility criteria and validations that the system have that are going to be validated in the submission. So if through the process you use that button, you're gonna know if there's something wrong related to the proposal or something is missing or you're over the limit of the characters in any field or whatever. So you are aware if you need to change or adapt anything before the submission and not in the last minute. Once proposals are submitted, anything cannot be modified. You do not need to be pre-registered to be invited. You can wait for the project leader to do it. I'm going to explain you more detail now. But if you are, mainly make sure that the project leader is inviting you with the same email that you have already in the platform. If we move forward, as I was telling you, one of the main things, if you have partners in your proposal or CSOs, these need to be invited by the project leader to join the application, as they have to formally accept because their organization is going to get money. And again, really, really important. You do not need to be pre-registered if you are not in the system. So you can wait for the invitation, and then the first step, once you accept the first the invitation is that you're going to have to register. Then you go to the system and you accept the second step of the invitation, as I'm going to tell you. But if you are already in the system, please make sure that the project leader is inviting you with the same email. This is really important. And there's only one partner per organization. If you invite more than one partner from the same organization, second partner, it's going to be removed immediately, and you're going to get an email as project leader and the person that was being invited saying that there was a conflict because there is already one person from that organization, even with the project leader. So the project leader cannot invite a partner from their own organization. Okay? We advise you to invite all members at once at the beginning, because then once they have accepted the first step of the invitations, you can add them in the budget, you can add them in the Gantt and all the parts of the application where they have to be selected. If you remove any member at the end because they have not accepted the second step, or because they finally don't want to participate or whatever, you have to remove them from both steps, from the invitation section and from the partner project acceptance section. So 2 steps. First of all, you invite them through the section that you were seeing in the screenshot before, selecting the role. They get an email with a link. They just click the link, and there's a pop-up that appears saying you've been invited to participate in this proposal. You can accept or decline. If you decline, that's over. If you accept, if you're new in the system, you will register. Once you access the system, and if you are not new, you will directly access the system. And then there's in the actions section of your portal, there will be what we call project acceptance form. That is the formal acceptance for you to participate in the proposal. The main idea here, legally speaking, is that you first accept their invitation, you gain access to see the proposal, and once you are comfortable with what you see, you say, I want to participate or not. So don't forget that both steps are needed and mandatory for the PL to be able to submit. If we move forward, finally, in the case of decline invitations, or PL must discard. So to be able to submit, all invitations and project acceptance forms must be accepted or discarded. If someone declines, or if someone never accept the second step, project leader will need to discard that invitation and that project acceptance. Again, only one partner per organization, and if you are invited and your role is not properly the one that it's needed, or you have invited more than one person from the same organization, you will be automatically removed, and you will get an email saying what went wrong. The table of the project participants' acceptance is at the end of the project team tab. So if you need to remove anyone, as I was telling you before, remember that you have to remove them or discard them from the project tab, project team tab, and from the invitation section. Okay, another section, reference and publications. Reference and publications are 2 different things. So in the project tab, there are references that are different articles or papers that you want to relate to the project that you are explaining, any of the sections of that tab. And then there are publications that's at the end of the project team tab, that are the publications that you relate to the team of the proposals. How do we add reference or publications? The process is exactly the same, but you have to add the reference on their section and the publications on their section. For example, at the end of the project tab, or at the end of the project team tab, you'll find a button that is set add publications. Click the button to start the process. Then there will be a menu that's open. We recommend you, and it's the fastest process, that if are indexed publications, you go to the upper corner and select in the tools button the publication search. If you want to add a publication that's still not published, it's a preprint or is a book or something, you can add it manually in the first menu that appears. But if not, the best thing to do is to look for your publication in the PubMed database by clicking the publication search. Then you can add any keyword related to your publication or the author, anything that it makes it easy to find it. Select that publications or those amount of publications that you want to add. Click the plus button. Then there's a new window with those publications that have been selected. Just click the transaction button so they are added to your proposal. Once you close that button, save draft to see them in the tab of your proposal if you have them added on the reference or in the publication. And then there's a second button that has appeared right now that it's edit publication list. And this is just to be able to move your publications and put them, or references, and put them in the proper order. There's a window and you can just drag and drop the publications up and down so they are in the corresponding order. If they're in the references, as they appear in the text, if they're in the publication, as you mentioned them in the corresponding section. You can always do that and always remove and move up and down the publication that you have added. Later on, last step, there's a section that is called My Publications Related to the Proposal, the team publications related to the proposals, where you explain why those publications are important to this proposal. Open that table and you'll find that you can choose from a drop-down the DOI related to that publication that is added on the list below. Automatically, once you select the DOI, the number corresponding to the list is added automatically, and then you have a text box where to explain why that publication is important to that proposal. Really, really, really important. If you make a change in either first or second steps of your publications, add or remove a publication or a reference, change the order, you always have to go back to the My Publications Related to the Proposal table and refresh that. Because if you have moved the order or deleted one of the publications or whatever, that information needs to be updated in that table by opening and refreshing that table, okay? Finally, the Gantt. As I was telling you before, if you invite members of the projects or if it's a single project, doesn't matter, there's a task responsible. So there's in the project tab, you'll find a section, proposal Gantt chart, where there's a list of activities. Click on the open button and then you can start adding the tasks related to your Gantt, the activities of your projects. You have a drop down to select the task responsible, and those are the people that have accepted your invitation. That's why we tell you to invite them in the beginning, so you can add them through the Gantt chart, even in the budget. Just open that table. You need to fill the information related to the task work package, task responsible, name, and dates. Close the table, save draft, and you'll see the Gantt chart on the tab. Gantt chart will be automatically organized first by work package, and within the work package by start date. You cannot change that order. Okay, anytime you change the task or add task or whatever, once you close the window, save draft, and you'll see the chart automatically updated. Finally, there are a few AI tools that we offer you that they are accessible from your application to help you during the process. First of all, there's a chatbot. You can ask any question related to the call to that chatbot, and its answer is mainly based on the rules of participation and all the documents that are available on the website. Okay? If anything you ask, you don't feel comfortable, obviously you can always contact us. But if that makes your process easier or faster, or is a question really based or extracted from the documents, this is a way to have an immediate answer. Also, there's a writing assistant tool. That means that there's a tool, you find that button in different tabs, that once you have written the information on the different text boxes, you can use that tool to improve the English or to improve the writing itself of the proposal. It does not generate any content. So you can try to use the writing assistant when the application is empty, but it's not gonna work. So the tool is for helping on the final version of the text, of the English, of the writing, okay? Those tools are hosted on private servers, and the information shared with them is not public at all. So it is a safe space. This is so you don't have to go to ChatGPT, check anything, and come back. These are safe servers that are related to our cause. This is completely volunteer, so only use these tools if you consider it necessary, and the response of the tools depends on the overall demand. So we recommend you don't wait till the last minute to check those tools, mainly the writing assistant, because if 400 applications are at the same time in the last 10 minutes of the call, checking the writing assistant, the answer might be a bit slower than you were expecting. And the responsibility of the use or reliance upon the information provided by these tools is assumed by the user. So again, we offer these tools so if they could help, it's up to you if you want to use them or not. And just to finish, just remind you again, helpful documents, rules for participation, evaluation guide, manual for submission. You can find all those documents on the web. The frequently asked questions, also a section on the web. Our email, we are behind that email, and we have a technical office helping us because the amount of emails is quite high. So we try to always answer the email within the same day. And maybe last days are a little bit more intense. And this informative session is going to be on the web, published on the web, hopefully today or tomorrow in the next couple of days. And that's all from my side, and we can start questions and answers. And I've seen a lot of questions on the chat that our colleagues are going to help us.
Okay, so thank you, Ines and Carla, for the presentation. As you said, now we give the floor to the audience to solve doubts and questions. So please, if any of you have a question, click on the raise hand icon under the reactions on the bottom of the venue. You will find the site, and we will give you the floor, and then you just need to connect your microphone and your camera and ask your question. Let me tell you that we will finish today at 1 o'clock. So please, if at that time you still have any doubts or you need to solve more questions that was not really clear in the informative session, just please contact to our email. As Carla said, health research contact.fundaciolacaixa.org. And we will be happy to answer your questions. Also, for a specific inquiries or questions for your specific case, your own case, we also appreciate if you go through the email better, because then we can go here to more general questions that may be interesting all the audience. So let's start. We have many questions here, girls. So let's go for the first one. Rita Castao, you're welcome.
Yes,
Thanks for your
right.
question.
Can you hear me well?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. So thank you so much for this session. It was very helpful, as always. But in this particular call, I have a question, because this is the first time, and maybe it's a little bit different from the ones that I already applied before. And my question is related with the meaning of intervention. So what do you specifically consider intervention? So I understood that the call is much more centered in humans, so in patients with human samples, studies with humans, not so much basic animal models, things like that. But still, I have the doubt what you consider intervention, because I read already the documents available, and I was not sure about its meaning, because this is very important to have very clear in my mind, because intervention is something that is present in the three categories. So, right? So all the studies in the three categories of projects need to have interventions. But what do you consider intervention? It needs to be clinical study. But you right. Or using to treat patients with a new drug. Is it specific type of treatment? I don't know. It's what I need to better understand.
I'm sorry because it was difficult to understand. I mean, at least me, I heard you like not fluid. So I'm not sure. So I'm not sure about your question. But the important thing here is that yes, all proposal categories should include an intervention, a health intervention. So an intervention in humans in which the main objective is improving or their health or preventing disease, but in humans, so not animal models, not preclinical studies, these are not eligible.
Yeah, but in the three categories, the interventions are different. So in the pilots, it's kind of a first test, agile test, with the idea of probably having a bigger intervention if successful.
Dime.
In retrospective, the
Ya lo
intervention is
envió.
already
Alcanzó
done,
antes de
and you
entrar.
evaluate that intervention. And the new interventions, it is it's create, think, do that intervention and evaluate that intervention, and with the goal of further scalability.
If we are, for instance, doing an observational study with patients,
Sorry, a what?
that's
A what study?
clinical study.
A clinical study.
Yes. To get samples to test a new methodology and not interfering with patients directly.
Yes.
Will this be considered a study?
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't
Yeah,
get
Rita.
to understand. I mean, the sound is not quite good. I'm sorry.
Maybe if you put more volume or something, but it's really hard to understand the question actually.
I understood about recollecting samples from patients and to validate a new methodology. Is that correct? That will be a
Yes.
new intervention. So you have to present unless it's a pilot. So unless it's a small sample and a first quick test, I would say.
Okay.
You need to present, if that's the idea, you need to present the intervention itself that you want to do and the evaluation that you will do later on of that intervention. And the scalability in the case of success, if that's a new intervention. If it's a pilot, because you are expecting a smaller sample and it's a quick test to further develop to a higher intervention, that also could be an option. But I am understanding that you will do that intervention. That's not already done and you are just evaluating. So you are going to be gathering those samples from those patients and doing that validation of that methodology. Is that correct? I mean, I understood correct. Inez, I don't know if you want to add something to
Right.
that I understood.
No, I mean, I agree with what you say.
Rita, maybe you can just send an email with your question, and we will be happy even to contact you for proper answer if you will not.
Yes. Yes. Okay,
happy
okay.
with
Thank
that.
you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you to you. Please, first, let me tell you, those of you that are not making the question, please keep your microphone muted because we are having some noise. So next question, Maria Rojas, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. Very clear explanation, thank you. I just have a question regarding the partners. Is particularly because we are in the process of developing a spin-off from the Institute of Research, and some of the partners for our project will be a part of the members of that spin-off. But at this moment, there is not a private entity and not profit entity, but is in the transition. So my question is, is it possible to have these researchers as partners, as consultant, they work as a consultant or freelance, or they should be particularly linked or in an institution?
So,
Not really.
I
Go
mean,
ahead, Ines.
the important thing here is that in the application, we are talking about organizations. So if you are the spin-off cannot be an organization involved in the project. It cannot be a host organization. It cannot be a partner organization, since for-profit entities as a spin-off, they cannot be in the proposal. I mean, if someone who works in a for-profit institution should be added to the project and needs to be paid for that, you can subcontract this person, but it will be like a subcontracting for this activity, and it will not be, let's say, part of the project. It will be a subcontracting, like you contract any other activity related to the project. But the organization, the spin-off, cannot be part of the project. And also there's an important thing here, that the project you are submitting to the call cannot produce results that can be a result of benefit for the spin-off, because
No, it's not. No, it's more. It was more thinking of the researchers, that it could be or not part of the team as a researcher, not as a contractor, or not for any other activities, just as part of the research team.
So all research team members should belong to one of the organizations in the application. So if they are only part of the spin-off, but they are not part of one of the organizations in the proposal, they will not be project team members, let's say.
Thank you very much.
You can always hire them as consultant, as you were saying, but then it will be part as a subcontracting. But if you consider that their role as a researcher is needed, that's an option. The main thing is that the non-profit organizations can be part of the project itself, as Ines was saying.
Yeah, but the researcher can be presented as part of the budget, as part to complete some of the actions. Is what you are saying, Carla?
No,
Through subcontracting, not through partners and not through CSOs. So the organization itself, that person related to that organization, that spin-off, cannot be part of the project as a partner. So the organization cannot be part of the Gantt activities for itself. It could be added to the project as a consultant through subcontracting is the only option in that sense.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Maria. So next question will come from Joanna Costa. Joanna, thank you for your question. Go ahead.
Hi, Joanna.
Hello. Hi. One quick question. Sorry, are you listening to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just regarding the in the eligibility process for this call. So because it is the first call, the process will be only for the the format assessment of the proposal. So it won't have the AI tool for the content.
It's not there.
It's not there because it doesn't have previous proposals for this call, right? So it's all
Exactly.
okay. Thank you very much.
There will be a content eligibility to make sure that we fulfill the criteria, but it's not the pre-screening process that you know
exactly.
from the research call. Yes.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. And now another thing, which is, so for the category of new interventions, my question is, if a project would like to develop a new health intervention for a particular health problem, a situation, like in the area of cancer, for example, and the project itself, what will do is to assess the efficacy of a lifestyle intervention. So the intervention, so the the criteria of the intervention itself, it's not going to be new. So these lifestyle interventions like nutrition, health, activity, and so on. So it's already established, but for application in other health issues. The project wants to assess the effectiveness of lifestyle interventions in a completely different health context. So it is something like a repurposing, let's say, of an intervention in a context. Will this be considered okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I mean, when we talk about new interventions, it's like to make it
That-
the opposite
that are
to
not-
the retrospective studies. You know, so
Yeah.
in the retrospective studies, you already did the intervention, and now
so
you
it's
are
great.
evaluating data. So in the new
Mhm.
interventions, you are doing it everything together, like the intervention plus the evaluation of the intervention. So in your
Okay.
case, yeah, it would be eligible.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jana.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna. So David Verde, please, we are ready for your question. David?
You're muted?
Yeah,
Okay, do you
now,
hear me?
yeah,
Yeah.
now we hear
And
you.
now, hope do you see me also? I'm
Perfect. Welcome.
I'm not Brad Pitt, but I'm here. Okay. Two questions. On the one side, I understand that you are limiting the activities, the projects with medical devices, but as you know, almost everything it's like a medical device. For example, if an intervention uses, for example, a software, no, and it's introducing something better in the health of the persons, it means that there is a medical device.
That's
No,
not
but
a problem.
no, I
Is-
mean, so what is not eligible is a proposal with the main focus of developing or validating a medical device.
Okay,
But
I
if you
see.
are using a medical device, I mean, if you are using a computer with the software for
Yeah.
health, that's okay.
Yeah.
The thing is that if you are developing or evaluating it, it would not be eligible.
Okay. And the other is that you make an example that I think is not correct about the primary care. That you may say that if primary care centers are part of the project, maybe they don't have access to the budget. And I think, sorry, I have to say, as a innovation manager of ITIAM Jordigol, which is the main center of primary care in Catalonia, probably in Spain, is that our work has a cost. For example, if I mean to say, if I'm we are in different proposals probably. In some of them, we'll have an idea. For example, that what I say you that is to use a software for the benefit of the patient with an intervention. But on the other side, if there is I don't know, another institution that wants to use the primary care centers to use this intervention, I don't understand why your example of institutions that don't have to have a budget are primary care centers.
I mean, from our understanding, Jordigol, for instance, perform research in primary care centers.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the money of the project and the applicant organization will be Jordigol, not the primary care center itself. It will not be
sure.
So that's what we
That's
are
the only
meaning.
thing we meant.
Okay.
Like you are okay, you are receiving the money as Jordigol, but then in the participant organizations, you can state, we are doing this in the primary care center of L'Eixample.
Okay, so sorry for the misunderstanding.
No, it's really that's really important.
I realized that. So what we are doing here? Okay, no, that's perfect. I'm really sorry for that. No,
Don't worry. And thank you
No,
for
it's
the
a really
question.
important question because it's a main difference from what we had up to now. That's why we built the participant organizations, because Jordigol is going to be signing the agreement or being a partner of another agreement. But it is important to know if you are doing the intervention in a primary care center, or in 4, or in 5, or in 10. And those centers usually don't have legal entity to get the money itself or to sign the agreement. So we will be
No.
signing with Jordi
Yeah,
Gold.
we are the legal entity, yeah, for them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
the main thing.
Okay,
That's
okay.
important.
So sorry for the misunderstanding.
No
Okay,
problem.
so
That's
thank
an
you.
important question.
Okay,
that's all.
David, thank you for
Thank
the
you.
clarification. Next question will come from Sophia. Sophia, you are welcome.
Yeah, hello, thank you. Just a quick question. I think that there was already a question related to this, but if I understood properly, scaling up an existing intervention would be eligible and fall under the category of new intervention. Did I understood correctly?
Yeah, I mean, you are saying that you have some hints from an intervention and you want to scale up and make it bigger and testing it bigger, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
it's
so-
already an existing intervention that went through already some previous evaluations, and then now we would like to explore it in new settings and with another population.
Yeah, that would be a new intervention. Yeah.
Okay, super.
For us,
Thank
it
you.
would be like going from a pilot to an intervention. So that's the main idea.
Okay. So yeah, it would fall under new intervention. Okay,
Yeah.
super. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. So next one's Ricardo Melo. Hello, Ricardo.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, thank you so much for your session and for your presentation. I have a question concerning the role of for-profit organizations through subcontracting. So you mentioned that it is not eligible for, or the proposal could be rejected if there's this clear benefit. Could you clarify a bit what could constitute a clear benefit in this case? So imagine that we subcontract a software house that has experience in health software development. And by the end, the software house would like to construct something that is informed by an intervention. Is this constituted a clear benefit?
I mean, what we refer to that is that you cannot use products or generate results that can be directly linked to a company. So you cannot take, I don't know, the software from a certain company and test it in the code because it will clearly generates benefits for that certain company who has developed the software. But if you are developing a software and you need a company as subcontracted to help you developing the software, that would be no problem. I mean, that would be okay.
Okay. So in the future, if they would want to use the results in some way, that is fine.
Well, or if your project ends on building a company, that's something that would happen later on. So that's not a problem. That would be even a good success if years later you finally build a company from the result of these projects, because what you've built develops in a whatever that is useful for and able to go to the market. But the main thing here is that the research that is becoming from this project cannot be a clear benefit for a company. You can use obviously commercial software or a commercial tool or whatever. That's for sure. They're not gonna be part of the project. You're gonna be subcontracting that tool or that service or whatever. That's no problem at all because they're not the core of your project. You are using their tool. That's another.
Yes. My question is that if the company that creates that tool, in the end, would like to in some way incorporate the results of the project.
To improve their tool.
Yes, to improve their tool.
Hopefully that happens, but
yeah, but we should check the exact situation, because I mean, if you already know now that you will be doing all this research to benefit this company, that would be a bit not fair, let's say.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much for the clarification.
Thank you, Ricardo. So next question comes from Álvaro Sabaté. Hello, Álvaro.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Thank you.
So thank you for your presentation. I'm working on my application and I have some problems with the terminology of the website, because I can't find any difference between members of the project and project team, because members of the project are organization and the project team it's organization also. So I can't see any spot in the application form where I can put individual researchers, so individuals.
No,
so
you
the
cannot.
project.
There's not a
Okay.
section for that. So there's only a table that's automatic created, that it's what you call
Yeah.
members of the project, that are just for reviewers or whatever to visualize the core members of the project. So that means the project leader and the partners from the different organizations or the civil society organizations. Then there's a section where you can explain the capability of the team to undergo the proposal. Is there where you explain the team, the configuration of the team, and the different members. And then you have a section to include the project participants, so specify the role of each organization and its research representative and what they're gonna be doing in the project. So there's not a section that is called team members when you add names. That is not even legally possible in the considering DPO. It's more narrative explanation of who you are, what you'll be doing, and why is that the best team to perform that proposal. And on the participations of the project, where you specify if there's something done in wherever you do the intervention or the pilot study or whatever you're doing, what is their role? And then you can mention whoever you want.
Okay. So thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Álvaro. Next will be Fernando. Hello, Fernando.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My question is related with the previous one. I mean, a researcher of my team who do not belong to my own organization should be included as a partner. Is that correct?
Do they belong or not belong?
Do not belong to the organization. It's from another community, autonomous community. It is in my research team.
No, it cannot. I mean,
Should I consider him as a partner or?
You should add them as a partner. So they work in another research center. It is?
So it should. If it's in another research center, it should be invited as partner. But if you do that, you need to consider that this partner organization should have a budget associated. So you will be asked to invite this person, and then you will be asked to assign a budget to this organization. And you can, in your team, you cannot include someone from outside your organization.
Thank you.
That's clear? Okay. Thank you, Fernando. So Nieves, please make us your question. You're welcome.
Hello, good morning. I don't know if my microphone is working properly.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. My question is related to the difference between technology and intervention itself, because in my case, we are working with the elderly people and their caregivers, both in home cares, in one side, and even at home with non-professional caregivers. And we are supported as a non-profit association that is helping us to put the technology in different places. All the technologies that have been developed is a product from a research project for the university, but we are commercializing such technology by means of a spin-off at the university. So we would like to test with an intervention of this technology or to create something that allow us to know if it is possible to improve the health of caregivers and elderly people with this kind of technology. So we are interested in the project because the intervention is not the technology, but if the technology is commercialized by a spin-off, it is possible to use it in order to prepare the project, the proposal, and to do the intervention for demonstrating that it is possible to use artificial intelligence in our case and medical devices or new medical devices for doing these things in this context with elderly people and their caregivers?
I mean, if the technology is already being commercialized by you, and you are preparing a project which will generate results that will clearly benefit that technology, and so that would not be eligible because you are already commercializing that technology, and you will, I mean, it will be beneficial for your spin-off to have this project. So, I mean, as you are explaining it right now, I would say it's not eligible, but if you prefer, you can write an email and we can check it like
But-
more in detail.
Yes, because for example, our technology, for example, if other enterprises doing similar technology, the integration can demonstrate that it is interesting to use technology in general. So it's not really a benefit only for us, maybe for others that are working in the same line. I don't know if this is eligible or not, because it's a very
Maybe I think it's better if you send an email or we have a conversation. I mean, the main idea here is that you need to understand that we are not allowed to fund companies. I mean, it is a gray line with spin-off that are starting and they have things that need to be validated, but it could be a big pharma on the other side. And I'm not saying it's your case, but to have a baseline there, we fund non-profit organizations. So there's a gray line there where if the results of this project have the goal to improve or benefit for-profit organization, we are not allowed to accept that. It is a gray line, so maybe we can have more information related to that and study that specific case. We know it's a gray line, but this is the main idea that's behind this.
okay. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you. So Sara Pereira, your turn.
Hi, hello, good morning. Can
Hello,
you hear me
Sara.
well?
Yeah, very well.
Yeah, so thank you for the session. And my question is related to the eligibility criteria. So I understand that for the retrospective studies, the goal is to evaluate an intervention. That said, is it eligible to, so instead of evaluating a specific intervention, to evaluate a set of intervention and the timings of these interventions, is it eligible?
I mean, if the project is really focused on their evaluation as
yes.
interventions, and you have specific interventions to evaluate, you can evaluate more than one. If that's the
If it
question.
makes sense.
Yeah, it's just that so these are interventions that are justified and known, but it is a question of the timings and the sequences of these interventions. So that's why I was asking.
Yeah,
no problem.
I don't see a problem there.
Okay, so thank you.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Sara. So next question from maybe Dr. Miro, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
this is Jose Miro speaking. My
you.
question is if the health intervention can be performed through a randomized clinical trial.
Yeah, totally, yes.
Yeah, comparing, for example, oral antibiotics versus parenteral antibiotics at home, and all of them are commercialized without any pharma company behind them. So this is possible?
Yeah, in general terms, yeah. I mean, we are mainly expecting RCTs to be submitted to the call, so that would not be a problem.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question. Okay, next question. Maite, you are welcome. Maite, are you
Good
there?
morning. Yes, good
Okay,
morning.
now.
Thank you for your
Okay.
clarifications. I belong to an ONRD, and if we have a project, and if we need to include someone outside of our ONG, which has specific skills to be part of the project and develop an important role in the project, it's not possible to include this person as a member of the team. Is that what I understood, no?
Yes, if he's not part of your organization, you cannot define that person part of your organization. If he or she is going to have an important role,
Yeah.
probably should be partner to be able to get a budget. So the main thing
Ah.
here is that it should be a research performing organization. So he or she should be part of a research center or a hospital or a university or whatever. So not a company.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he or she.
But if she doesn't belong to a company or another ONG, and she works as an individual, can she be included as a partner?
No, every person need to be linked to an organization. So if she's an individual, you should probably add her or him as a consultant is the only thing I can recall.
Also,
but not including her as part of the team. Even if she's a consultant, because she's gonna perform specific activities, we cannot include her as part of the team.
No, she need to be linked to an organization. The grant agreement is not signed with individuals; it's signed with the host institution, and the institutions are the one linked to the organization. So she need to be linked to an organization to be able to be part as a partner and to be able to get budget in this sense. She could always get budget as subcontracted, but then she would be kind of a consultant.
Yeah, but can we, if she doesn't accept to be part of the ONG because she's currently not part of the ONG, if she doesn't accept that, can she still be this person can still be could be working for us as a subcontractor? Is that would be considered legally inside the
Yes.
project? So how do I include her? Not a member, but is a partner.
No.
No, it's not a partner. What it is legally considered as a partner in the proposal, you could add her on the explanation of part of the team, but the money she would get to perform whatever would be through a subcontracting. So that money should be on the subcontracting concept, and the only option you have there is to explain her role or goal on the whole explanation of the team or the people performing on that team itself, but not as a partner.
Okay, so she's not included as a partner, but I have to give in the description of the project. I have to say we need to contract or hire, subcontract someone who's gonna perform a specific and a very important part of the project. Is that okay? No, just mentioning that, but included, so there is no confusion later on that we have included a subcontracted person.
That's not a problem to have someone subcontracted.
Yeah, that's fine. But Maite, one question. You say you are part of an NGO,
I am.
an ONG?
Yes.
Okay, so just consider that to be the host organization of a proposal, you need to be a research performing organization, and most NGOs are not considered research performing organizations. So the main goal of your organization should be, or one of the main goals of your organization should be performing research. So we are including here universities, hospitals, research foundations, but most NGOs cannot be included here, so they cannot be the host organization of the project. Just
They can be partners. Sorry, they can be CSOs.
Exactly.
They can be CSOs, but to be host, in your legal document of the organization, it needs to say that you perform research, not that you disseminate research or but you perform yourself research.
Well, it's a project that we already started last year. It finished. It finished the first stage, and we would need to proceed with the second phase, which is direct intervention on people on health issues.
But you're doing that with a hospital or research center?
No. It has been mainly psychological support for people who are suffering from COVID, persistent COVID, and they have not. They have now are out of the social security system. The social security system has given them no choice but to go by themselves. And this project was born to help and guide these people to understand they gave tools as but guidance and tools. But now the idea is to go further, psychological treatment, and also maybe help with therapies that are not so expensive, but they need them. So that's the part of the thing. And one of the members of the project is not part of our ONG.
Okay, the main consideration here is that check that the NGO can be considered a research performing organization, because otherwise you will not be able to submit your application as host organization. You will need some university or some research performing organization that does it.
There is no other option inside the the Caixa, the foundation, to address this type of projects.
Well, if you have a research performing organization, it could be a foundation, it could be a university, it could be a hospital, any entity that it has as part of their activities performing research to lead that proposal, you could be part of it without a problem and get that money and get the budget and do that intervention. But the host organization needs to be a research performing organization, because this is a research call. That's why that's mandatory.
Okay. Thank you very much.
If you have psychiatrists helping you in this process, for example, they have to be linked to an organization that is eligible for this call. They have to be linked to a hospital.
Let's say, but if they are doctors and a psychiatrist or psychologist belong to a medical college, or medical. Yeah. So if that's good enough to include this person. Not our ONG. We don't perform research investigation, but this person who's linked. Well, she has the college organization. I don't know.
But she's working for an organization that performs research. That's the thing.
Well, I think that's mainly an internal discussion you may have with the person people you are thinking about, and just consider the eligibility criteria for organizations. And if you have any doubt, you can write an email, of course.
Right.
And
give us have the internal discussion, and you can contact us by email and give us the exact examples of who you are and what organizations they are linked to, so we can analyze the specific case.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Maite. So we have Felix Perez waiting for next question.
Everyone, thank you for the opportunity and this session. So imagine a project which is like evaluating the benefits of a collaborative relationship between a hospital and an NGO and a civil society in order to replicate this in other regions. You would consider this like a new intervention or like a retrospective evaluation of this relationship between the hospital and the NGO?
I mean, you already performed the intervention, or you will perform?
Well, it's in course. I mean, it's happening. So I think that it's a retrospective evaluation. I just want to confirm.
If the goal is to evaluate the benefit of what you're doing,
yeah.
If that's the main goal of the project,
okay.
Yeah, and you already have the data and everything.
Exactly. Perfect.
That would be more retrospective then.
Perfect. And then the other question is, well, I understand that the possibility of leading the project or hosting the project being an NGO is quite difficult. We need to confirm if we have this opportunity or not, or the hospital needs to be the host. But then the other question is the hospital is able to do other submissions to this grant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like competitive, no? I mean,
no, it's not a problem.
I mean, the
it's not a problem.
same organization can submit as many applications
Exactly,
as they
that's
wish.
my question. That's my point.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Felix. You are welcome, Margarita Faria. Hello, Margarita.
Hello. So thank you so much for this session. Just to be sure, so can we have more than one team member from the host organization in this call? So we already have like the project leader. Can we have other people joining as well from the same organization?
I mean, they will be considered team members. So you will have to describe the whole team in the field that Carla was mentioning before. But you cannot invite someone from the same organization to be a partner.
Okay.
You know, so if you invite someone from the same organization as the project leader or as any other partner, you will get a conflict in the system, and you will know that you cannot do that. But if you want to have someone in your team from the same organization, it should be a team member, and it
Okay.
should not be invited to the application.
And in terms of partner organizations, can we have more than one person per organ? So do we have like one person per organization, or can we have more than one person working in that organization, considered partner organization, if that makes sense?
So each organization should be represented by one person. So the project leader in the case of the host organization, and the partner in the case of the partner organization.
Okay.
And these partners, and in the case of CSOs, the CSO representative, one person, they should be invited to participate in the application through the platform. That's one thing. You have one representative per organization. And then the other thing is that when you have already invited your partners and you need to describe the whole team, there you can explain what you consider important for the team, and you can mention as many members as you wish from the organizations you have invited as partner and from your same organization as host. So I don't know if...
Yeah, that makes total sense. Okay. And
Even
so
for
I just...
participant organizations, if in participant organizations, you can talk about 4 different participant organizations, usually primary care centers, but not only. And within those 4 different organizations, you can talk about 1 person or 20. It doesn't matter. As Ines was saying, they are part of the team that's going to be doing stuff in the project. But the ones that you invite, there's only one representative as representative of that organization as part of the team of the consortium. But besides that, talk about everyone that's going to have a goal on that project, but it has to be part of a linked organization or a participant organization. So you cannot just mention someone that is from nowhere. We need to understand where they are and what they're doing to be able to properly understand the project. That helps on the evaluation.
Yeah, thank you. I just have one more question. So is there a template of the research proposal available to us beforehand, or do we need to log in to the online system to see like the different proposal sections and the word limits and so
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
You have the main sections on the rules of participations. So I would say the big titles, but if you want to see the structure, the different steps that you need to follow, the different limits for each field, open an application.
Okay, thank you. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Margarida. So, Nuno Teixeira, you are welcome. Can you?
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Oh,
We
good
hear
morning.
you
Hello. Yeah.
perfectly.
I wanted to ask for clarification about funding and specifically about the indirect costs, because there was a point on the rules about the 10% 10% maximum for overheads, but I think that Inês and also in the regulation says that it was not applicable to pilot studies. What does this
Exactly.
mean?
You cannot add overheads.
For pilot studies.
Yes.
So pilot studies cannot have overheads?
No.
No.
Okay, is there any reason or rationale for this? Because I mean, pilot studies are smaller samples of smaller cohorts, but fundamentally the same kind of work or cost of spending. And I believe that myself from a research institution and other colleagues from research institutions, we are obliged to have overheads to be able to apply. Our institution forces that we need to have overheads to
We
cover.
consider that with a budget of max 80K,
Yeah.
we want that budget to stay in the project and to help the researcher perform the project. And it was already a big discussion when we opened health research to establish the overheads in a 10% because most organizations request a 20, 21, or even a 24.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that is a rational decision. We want the project, the money to stay in the project and to help researchers to perform the project. That's why in higher budgets, we settle the overheads in a 10%, but rational, like we have in other calls with, I would say, smaller budgets, we want that budget to stay in the project.
Yeah, but actually, as you may know, that creates a problem, I believe, in most institutions, as there is an internal rule that does not allow even for researchers like myself to apply if there is no percentage of overheads. So that may constitute a problem, and for us, certainly a problem. It's usually on exactly as you're speaking. So bigger projects have around 20% overheads, but smaller projects like this, the kind of exploratory projects, have this 10% overheads, and we are obliged to comply with that. So I think that creates a problem for most researchers. So I'll just leave you this suggestion.
We're happy to talk with your institution as we did when we launched health research like 9 years ago. And lots of them complained because we were settling at 10% and not at 21 or 24. And at the end, all institutions apply to health research call. And I hope it will be like this also in this call. But our goal is here helping research, and 80K stayed for the project and for project purposes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Nuno. So, Marisa Couto, welcome and thank you for your question.
I want to thank you for the session and for the opportunity to answer the doubts and the questions. And my research will be only done from me. It will be a research for PhD degree in health public school in Portugal, and it will be a longitudinal questionnaire about the impact of the obstetric violence in the mental health of the women and babies. And my question is, the only researcher will be me, but I will have an orientator. I need to put the orientator as a team partner, or I only can make the application with only my name.
Okay, Marisa, one thing, but did you already complete your PhD? So your PhD is completed?
No, I will be
Okay,
I will be do my application until 19th of March. I don't know if it is possible
No,
to
one of the pre-eligibility criteria for project leaders is that they have completed their PhD before the opening date of the call.
Okay.
So we will be happy to have you once you are done with your PhD.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marisa, and good luck with the PhD. So next question comes from Culturas Unidas. Deborah, a colleague there, I guess.
Hello. So,
Welcome,
first,
Deborah.
first of all, thank you for the session. So, our organization have two dental clinics, one in Madrid and one here in Valencia. We work with vulnerable families and we also promote dental healthcare. So, our question is that we want to know if the dental clinic could fit in the pilot project.
I mean, no, I'm the dental clinic. So I mean, you need to prepare a proposal with a certain intervention, with a specific intervention, and that could be a pilot study if you wish. But there should be an intervention. Like, I'm not sure about dental clinic.
I mean, intervention, we are doing right now interventions. Espera, es que no sé, explícame tú.
Sorry, but
Don't
I
worry.
don't know
Don't
if
worry.
sorry, me, it's Victor. Nice to meet you. So I don't know if the misunderstanding is perhaps that the intervention, it's about a research project in itself.
So yeah, so this is a research call. So you need to prepare a research proposal, including certain intervention. I don't
Because
know.
the fact is that besides her, we are two members of the organization of Culturas Unidas that we work as sociologists. So we can do this part of the project. I mean, and on one side there will be the clinic intervention, but in the healthcare meaning, and on the other side we will be us, Diana and me. On
the sociology.
Oh,
on the research part.
Okay, I mean, as long as you prepare a research project, including a health intervention, and that you apply from a research performing organization, that's fine.
Okay. The other point would be that neither her nor me we have a PhD, so we will need an external collaboration.
Well, you need a project leader with a PhD.
Exactly. That's it.
We have. I mean, we have thought about the possible one, but we not us.
So if the question is if dental health could be part of the call, answer is yes.
Yeah.
That's not a problem at all. As Ines was saying, you just need to build a research project with a health intervention, dental health intervention, or social dental health intervention. No problem at all, but you need a project leader with a PhD presenting from a research performing organization. Besides that, you can be part of the project.
Okay, but would it be a problem if the research leader doesn't belong to the organization?
No, it should belong to a university, a hospital, a foundation, a research center, or whatever.
But I mean, consider that you are building a consortium here, so it needs to make sense. I mean, if you are involving someone from an organization, this organization will be leading the project, so they will be the ones
performing activities,
receiving the budget. They will perform activities. They will sign the agreement with La Caixa Foundation if the project is finally funded. So I mean, you are building a consortium. You are giving this person, the project leader, the most important part of the project, let's say, in terms of representation towards La Caixa Foundation. So just keep this in mind.
Project leader coordinates the project and leads the project. So it can be in your organization or your clinics where you do the intervention, but it's going to be led by the researcher in charge of the project. So that has to make sense.
Yeah, of course. Okay, that's all from our part. So thank you.
If you want to send an email with more specific information, just to clarify any doubt, once you have your internal conversation or you have a reference.
The link that appeared before on the chat on the chat. If I'm not, if
Yeah,
I'm
we can write
one of our
email
colleagues
address.
just posted again.
Let me see. Okay, it was that one health research.
Yeah, that one.
Contact dot fundacionlacaixa.org.
That email.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Next question comes from Guillem Freixa, sorry.
Thank you.
Go
From the Universitat de Barcelona. I have like three very specific questions. One is as member teams, imagine someone from my university is a full-time contract and is the project leader, not necessarily myself. Can they list as members of the team professors who have or researchers who have a part-time contract with university, or it must be a full-time contract?
No.
Okay.
It's okay.
The second question is that I am a bit confused between the differences between the pilot study and the new development. In both cases, I understand that we are not studying a well-developed and validated intervention, so it's something new, okay? But if we do have the protocol for it, and we have some preliminary data, and we want to do like a study about that, for the pilot condition, we wouldn't need to do an RCT. It could be just, or it could be an RCT with a smaller sample size than in the case of the third option, the new development, that it should be an RCT with the proper sample size, with the big, that would be the difference between these, or what is the difference between, in both cases are new interventions. So I am a bit confused about that.
Yes, mainly these categories are made thinking about the possible methodologies you may use for them.
Yeah.
And also, if you open an application in the system, you will find a link with information from the UK government explaining the different types of methodologies that may be used in different types of categories. But yeah, the main difference is the methodology you will be using, and the sample size, and also the research question. I mean, pilot studies should answer to more easy or a simply question than, or more straightforward question than the new intervention. That should be something bigger and more complete, let's say. So, and also check the budget and the time frame for the two projects is quite different. So just.
But I think the research question is quite similar, because in both cases you want to prove the utility or validity of the protocol that you are researching. So the research question, I don't see the difference.
I agree but with the pilot, as Ines was saying, I would say that you would, in a faster way, test if that research question makes sense. And later on, if you're just now in a pilot testing that research question, hopefully we would like that later on that project will move to a bigger new intervention with an RCT, a bigger sample, and needs self-evaluation. So I would say that pilots, I mean, we could have not included pilots and just include retrospective evaluations and new interventions, and that would be okay. Our goal with pilots is to give you the chance to test smaller things a bit quickly and see if it's worth going forward.
So a little bit it has to do. sorry, excuse me, a little bit it has to do with the ambition of the research team. So if
Well,
you
not-
assume that your
not-
intervention could be already tested in an RCT, you go for the new development. If you think that is still too preliminary, you go for the pilot. It's a part of your evaluation of how your intervention is strong enough or not.
I mean, I don't think
It's a matter of degree, I see. It's not so. Okay.
No, I don't think it's ambition. I mean, I think if you have a research project, you know if it should go to pilot studies or to new interventions, depending on the preliminary data, depending on the size of the population, depending on the methodology. So, I
So if
mean,
you feel confident and ready to build a new intervention, that's one thing. And if you're still not confident and ready with the data that you have, the information that you have, you may find useful to have a pilot, test a few things.
Okay.
And if that's
Let's change
okay.
ambition for confidence. But one detail is important that you say is you said that if you have preliminary data. So if you don't have preliminary data, it might be better go for a pilot. And if you have preliminary data, then you could go for an RCT, a full RCT. That would be a criteria, for example.
no, that's not a criteria. I mean, pilot
You
studies
mentioned that.
pilot studies are evaluated as pilot studies, and they will go to a selection committee, and they will compete, let's say, among them. And the new interventions will be evaluated apart from that.
Yeah.
Criteria, you can check the evaluation guidelines, and you will see there the full criteria for evaluating each of the proposal categories.
Okay.
Preliminary data, you will be asked to in your application to write a rationale for the intervention you are submitting, independently of it's a pilot study or a new intervention. So if you have preliminary data, that will make your application stronger in both cases. But that's
Okay.
in every project, it works like that.
Okay.
So
now the third question is in the justification of the proposal, you mentioned about preventive or not having the disease to grow too much. So, for example, in my area of mental health, or any other areas, a disorder which is already with a full diagnosis, for example, in my case, a full diagnosis of depression, a treatment for people with a full diagnosis would not fit well the proposal. Instead, treatment for subthreshold or primary signs of depression would be more appropriate for the proposal, because it says preventive or treatment of early. It doesn't say that this goes for diagnostic categories. For example, if someone has already a cancer, a given category, or a depression or a bipolar disorder, then the call doesn't seem to be for them because it has a preventive nature, or I am wrong.
We are encompassing here primary, secondary, tertiary, and fourth prevention. So if you are trying to improve the quality of life of someone with an illness, that could be prevention also, and that could be included in the tertiary or the quaternary prevention. Or if you are preparing a rehab project for someone who has a disease but is overcoming it, that would be also quaternary prevention. So it's prevention in a wide way, including from primary to quaternary.
Oh, okay. That framework is already being surpassed by a different framework, but about prevention. So it's a bit outdated. But okay, I will take that as a basis. Okay, thank you. And now it's clear that people with a full diagnosis can be part of our target intervention. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Gracias, Guillem. So next will be Juan Francisco Blández. Juan Francisco, are you there?
You're muted.
Juan Francisco, you want me to go to next and then we come back to you? So yeah.
I'm here, dice.
Yeah, but we cannot hear you.
You have to unmute yourself. Left corner. Left
Let
lower
me go
corner.
to Andrea, and then we will go back with Juan Francisco. Andrea Miranda, you're welcome.
Hi, hello, good morning. Thank you both for all the information. So my question actually is related to what Guillem explained. So just to be clear, when you mean you have preliminary data, this could be your own data, but also could be evidence-based data from other this. Okay, just to be clear. And when for the new intervention development for this part of the calls, you say the call says development and to evaluate the intervention. For the evaluation, you expect to have like a small pilot or a small RCT, or could be only a feasibility study also? In the new intervention, I mean, not in the pilot part, in the ones that it's like the kind of the bigger call.
Yeah, I mean, one of the criteria to evaluate will be the methodology that you are presenting is good for the research question you are posing. So we are not talking only about certain kinds of methodology, but the one that fits your research question. So.
But my question is more that when you develop the intervention, okay, you have like maybe not from scratch, but I mean, we don't have the intervention, we want to develop the intervention, and then at the end, is it expected also to evaluate this intervention? The final product could be the intervention, and it's expected that in the same time frame, we need to evaluate if it's effective or not, because maybe the time frame it's not enough. Maybe it's only enough for a feasibility study at the end. You know what I mean? Because the whole time would be for the development, and then, but this would be eligible also.
Yeah, that would also be eligible.
Okay, thank you very much.
In 3 years, we expect you to do the intervention and have an evaluation at the end to see if it
does what it's supposed to
Yes.
do. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. So now it's time of Juan Francisco. Now you are welcome, Fran.
Hello, sorry. I tried to connect the microphone, but it was impossible. Sorry. Well, I have a couple of easy questions. I suppose maybe you said before, but I don't know. The first one is, okay, so now I'm based in University of Valencia, but my idea is move to, to University of Huelva, different issues and programs.
No problem.
I don't know if I can apply from here and then move from another university. It is possible.
The optimal scenario is that you apply with University of Huelva if you know that the project will be performed in University of Huelva.
But the problem is that sorry. The problem is that I will move, probably I will move just in the middle of the project.
In the middle of the project.
Yeah.
That
if you are starting the project in Valencia,
yeah,
and Valencia is going to be executing budget,
yeah,
you need to apply with Valencia.
Okay.
In the middle of a project, moving a project means re-signing the grant agreement because you are changing the host organization. That is something that it has to be approved internally by us. Because it's a structural change. You will have signed the agreement with Universidad de Valencia, and that is a compromise to do the project.
Yeah.
With Universidad de Valencia as a host organization.
It's not sure at all, but this is my idea, so I'm looking forward to move.
I would say if the project is going to be started with Universidad de Valencia, you need to apply with Universidad de Valencia. And if at some point we reach that situation, then we will analyze that situation. What I have to tell you is that we try to be flexible, we try to be open, but the change cannot affect the viability of the project.
Yeah, okay.
That's the main idea.
I can be sure about that. The second question is, okay, so the idea that I have, okay, so currently I'm granted with the La Caixa junior leader. Okay, so my idea, I have some results. My idea is to broaden the scope of the project. So I'm working with nanomaterial for treatment, okay? basically chemistry. So the final idea is to test this in vivo. This is materials or a more expanded materials. I don't know if I can apply with this. Can I play with this?
I mean, that for what you are saying, that's a preclinical study, right?
Yeah, so basically the final idea is to stop maybe with animals, no more.
No. That would definitely not be eligible.
Okay.
You have to go
Okay.
to the health research call once you have 7 years after your PhD.
Okay. Hertz? Sorry, what is the...
If you have a preclinical project, you need to apply to the health research call, but one of the eligibility criteria is that you need to have 7 years of experience post your PhD.
I think that I have it, so I'm just in the limit. So
Then
this
now
is...
we are evaluating, but it's always open half September.
Okay. This is the next meeting, maybe. Can be?
No.
That is on Wednesday.
No,
Hertz?
that's
Cash Impulse.
Ah, okay. Sorry.
That's the innovation program.
Okay. So Hertz, can you repeat me?
Health research call. It's now
Okay.
on the middle of the evaluation, so this year's call is already launched and closed.
Yeah.
But it usually opens around third week of September. So
Okay.
just
So I will be
check
more
then.
sure if I will move at the end or not at this day.
Yes, you will already know.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Eduardo Gomez from Bragg, I guess.
Hello,
Hi,
good morning.
Eduardo.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for this session, first of all. I have two questions. One still regarding this distinction between pilots and new interventions. If for some reason we classify it as a pilot, but it should be a new intervention or the other way around, is that an issue, or the
No.
panel will evaluate it and then will give its
That's not the
judges?
problem. I mean, these are
Okay.
not fixed categories. This is just to help you locate your proposal in the category you think it better fits,
Okay.
because it will be evaluated with similar proposals. But it is not an eligibility criteria, and we don't have strict considerations to think that a project is a pilot or a new intervention. So it's just something to try to help you classify the proposal.
Okay.
It limits the budget. So if you apply to
Yeah,
a
the budget.
you've got one budget. If you do a new intervention, you have another budget, more time, and a few extra questions.
Yeah, thank you. And then the second question is, just to be clear, a drug repurposing study, like a phase 2 clinical trial, is eligible, right? Because
No.
the drug is already validated, is already in the market.
No, drug repurposing is one of the specific examples that
Okay.
we have in the rules for participation that is not eligible.
Even if it's an antibiotic or whatever kind of.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Okay, so we can still perform RCTs, but as long as they are not validating any kind of medical device or drug in this case, even if it's drug repurposing. Okay.
Yeah, in general terms, yeah.
The
Okay,
goal of the
thank you.
project cannot be that validation, or the goal of the project cannot be the drug itself.
Because the one of the ideas of the project could be do a drug repurposing for another condition, but in this case, since it's a drug repurposing study, it's not eligible. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Eduardo. So, Carla, Ines, we have here the last three people waiting for make their questions. So, first one will be Maria Leonor Tavares. Please, Maria Leonor.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Thank you for this question. So the first question is an intervention program based on digital tool is eligible for this call? Yes? Okay. The second is regarding to the consortium, it is mandatory for any country to participate other than the one proposing of the project?
What?
Sorry?
How many countries?
There's no limit. I mean, the limit is in the number of organizations, which is up to 5. the host organization plus 4 other partner organizations, and then the civil society organizations and other participants. But there's no limit in the number of countries.
But the minimum, one is possible?
Yeah. You can have a single organization.
In the individual projects, there's only one organization, and this should be based in Spain or Portugal. Nothing else is needed.
And you can have a consortium with all the organizations in Portugal. So it doesn't, the country itself, it doesn't matter. The only rule here is that if you have international consortium, there's a limit on the budget for the organizations outside Spain and Portugal. But you can be a single organization, or you can have 5 organizations from Portugal.
Okay.
Or Spain, or whatever.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So next one, and as with giving you his question is Mariano Luque. So Mariano, you are welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. I am full professor of mathematics in the Faculty of Economics at the University of Malaga, and I have published several papers related to mental health among secondary school students. Could a pilot study be carried out by conducting a survey of students at several secondary schools in Spain for the early detection of bullying, anxiety, and other mental health?
Yeah.
Based on mathematical models?
Yeah, in principle, a survey study could be a pilot study. Yeah.
Could be. Okay.
At the end, the goal has to be a health purpose.
Yes, of course.
No problem then.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mariano. So Ana Pérez Moreno, you are the last one here today. Thank you for your questions.
Thank you. I have one question. We are a research group from the university, and in our team we have people that works at the university and people that works in the health system. Can everyone be part of the members team, or we need to be partnered if there is about the health system? Or
depending on the role you want them to have.
Okay.
So imagine you are the project leader from the university, and the people that are working on the health system needs to get a budget and are going to be performing activities from the project. Then there should be a partner, is the way for them to be receiving a budget and to be performing activities. But in the health system, if there are in organization that has no legal entity, as we were saying before, it could be a project participant in that sense. And then you will need to find the higher legal entity to be able to receive that money. I'm not sure if I'm making you that clear.
Yes, thank you. And I have one question more. Can a PhD student be part of the member of the team?
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, they cannot be the project leaders.
No, yes.
But they can be team members, of course. Yeah.
Okay. One question. If someone, it is possible to subcontract someone from the same institution?
Yeah, but you will not need to subcontract them.
Okay.
If they're part of your team, you have budget for personnel. So you could, if they don't have a grant, you can afford or the grant of the PhD from the project if you're thinking about the interventions or whatever it is. So yeah, you can hire personnel through the project.
Okay.
From your
Thank you very
institution, obviously, and from any partner institution, because they need to get that money for that institution.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Anna. So Carla, Ines, it seems we are done today. Thank you very
Just in
much
time.
for the presentation and for all the answers to the question. So just to tell to everybody that they are welcome for submit the proposals, and very good luck with the projects.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ines.